How can you balance game development if you have a day job? When I started learning how to make games, I had a day job. I realized that this is not something I want to do forever, essentially. I wanted to make games. And so I needed to learn or figure out how I could make my game and learn how to get into game development while still doing my job, basically. Because if I lose my job, then that's a problem. And so what I did to balance these two things is I would spend the mornings. And that would be 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Sometimes I would wake up at 5 or 6. But for the majority of the first year that I started learning game development, I would wake up at 4 for 4:30, something around those two numbers. This when I wake up and I would work on my game. And I would actually work on the game, not just watch YouTube videos and pretend that I did something good, because I realized very early on that this is not how you learn to make games. You have to sit down and program something, code something, whether that be in Unity, Unreal Engine, Godot, Game Maker, or C++. And so, yeah, I did that for about a year. And after I was done working on the game in the morning, I took a shower, I went to the gym, and then I went to job. And so I had a good thing with my job where I needed to start at 9. Not everyone has that luxury. Some people have to be at the job at 6, maybe even 5. So, for example, if you're working in a bakery, you bet your ass that you have to be there at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning every day. You can't use the morning then. But yeah, that's what I did. And it worked very well because for me, in the mornings at 4 a.m., there's no one to disturb you. You can just work. There's no phone calls, no people running around in your room. There's no emails. There's no cars outside. It's dark outside, so it feels very cozy. And yeah, you can just chill, make yourself a tea or coffee and program. It's really awesome. And I love that feeling. And I still do it to this day sometimes. I wake up early and then program. And so yeah, here is the fluffy potato. We have watched a video from him in the past. He basically made a lot of money, considering teenager, as a teenager making games. I think it was about $6,000 over 1 year making games. And I think that's incredible. That's awesome. If you're into making games, I think you should take a look at this as an example of someone who's been following his dream and actually earning money with it. As a teenager, if I earned this much money when I was his age, I would be swimming in money. I would be like, running around with cars, and sunglasses, like, But yeah, I was stupid. I didn't do this. So, and now it looks like, which I find a bit interesting, he has a day job and he's making game development. He's making games on the side. I thought that he would actually go straight into full-time game development, but that's not the case. Let's see here.
I am not a full-time game developer. Game development is hard, and something that can make it even harder is stressing about money while you're trying to make a game.
Valve didn't send payment this month to blah 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 because the balance due doesn't meet the minimum payment threshold of $100 at the end of November. Due to the cost associated with both sending and receiving funds, we don't pay out balances under $100. Yeah, so that's a problem. Let's say you earn $60, but still like $60 in a month is nothing. So if you can't reach the $100, yikes. But how? I mean, he made some, or maybe he only made one game? As far as I know, he made more than one game. The Fluffy Potato, so that's like a 2D top-down game, pixel art game. And yeah, he made this. There we go, Dawn Down Abyss. How many reviews? 15 positive reviews. And Super Potato Bro. Okay. All right, so it looks like it doesn't pay him much money anymore because he hasn't made a new game yet, which, it makes sense. 6K for a teenager is crazy much. Yeah, I think so too. 6K is like you're living the life then, man. Holy.
Game. Even though I'm at a point where I could probably sustain myself with game dev and YouTube, I chose to work a full-time software engineering job and do game development on
Holy moly, that's quite a bit of money,
game dev and YouTube. I chose to work a full-time software engineering job.
118,000. Damn. Wait, is that actually what you earn, or is he just showing off?
Job and do game development on the side. That way I can focus more on the longer term and focus less on profits. I can also...
So what is then focusing more on longer terms? What does he mean by that? Because ultimately, let's say he's saving up money. That would be a smart idea, because then maybe he can invest into something, right? Build a business.
Do this novel thing called saving for the future. Towards the beginning of the year, my game Yanok was shown to nearly 1 million people after winning the competition it was made for. I wanted to ride on that wave while continuing my day job. After slacking off for a bit since I was still acclimating to the working life after college and wrapping up some other projects, I set a hard deadline for Yanok to be released by November 14th. It wasn't until mid-July that I got to serious work, which left me with roughly 4 months to turn a game made in 3 weeks into a full game while juggling it with a job. I thought it would be fun to share how the scheduling monster has been working out for me.
November, so wait a minute. Are you done yet? Cause that doesn't look like you're done, brother. It's still release date, November 13th. Oh, that's in 2 days, bro. Okay. That's actually in 2 days. Are you done? You don't have much time left, bruh.
Yanok is a twin-stick shooter roguelite bullet hell where you fight cellular automata instead of typical enemies that walk around. The game design is
how can you even tell what's going on here, bro? What?
It's absolutely critical for the timeline. Having cellular automata serves 2 purposes. First, it's quite fun to have to develop an intuition as to how the automata will react to being attacked in different places, which makes it more engaging than most enemies. But second,
Guys, I found out what makes the game so good. It's screen shake. Take a look at it. Watch. Everything shakes the screen. Watch.
Moves large
moving over something shakes the screen.
Portions of the workload from artwork to code, which is my strong suit.
Not so fast, bro. You're switching too fast. I wanted to see the code. I love code. Code. If self highlight. Oh, wait, that's Python. Yeah, right. He's a Python developer. Yeah, right. Cool.
Which is my strong suit by far. In addition to that, the whole roguelite genre is typically more code heavy due to the common use of random generation and dependence on mechanics for content through replayability. My goal is to price Yanok at $5 as a game you could get 8 to 10 hours of solid fun out of, while also being a game you could theoretically sink 100 hours into if you want a challenge.
Okay, how?
One of the biggest things that's making all of this feasible is the fact that my job is 32 hours per week, which is typically the minimum to qualify.
Oh, I see. Most people have 38.5 or maybe more now. Like, I don't know how much you guys have, but I used to have 38.5.
As full-time.
That's crazy low. Damn.
It gives me an extra 8 hours per week relative to a normal 40-hour job.
Oh, I see how that works. I've seen that before in a company. Basically, you work 4 days a week and then you use the 5th day, usually Friday, or maybe it's not Friday, but usually Friday, that you to educate yourself, essentially. You're getting better at something, you're learning something new, and it's basically like an incentivize you to stay at the company and basically bring more value to the company because you're learning something. 20% time, yeah. I think that's what he has. Because I don't think he just gets 1 day free. That would be a bit odd. Yeah.
But that's not nearly enough on its own for the timeline I set. That means I have to use weekends and evenings like anyone else trying to make a game while working a full-time job.
Or the mornings.
I typically stagger my hours, so some days I'll work 9 hours with an extra hour of commuting. The best trick I've found for staying productive is to focus on being productive when it's hardest. The amount of work isn't as important as the habit of squeezing in a little bit of work even if I only have an hour.
True. So this is how I tackle things when I had a pause in my game or like something. I try to do it the tiniest thing and I focus on completing the tiniest thing, and that makes me stay on the game. I always find something tiny to do and I complete that, and that's how I keep iterating, keep coming back to the game. The moment I stop doing that is when I will probably abandon the project. So I keep doing it. It's so vital to have these tiny things. And that could be as tiny as changing an upgrade, effect, the colors and the sound effects. Like we did today.
Productive in the easy times comes easier as a result. That means working on Yanok, especially on the days where I'm gone for 10 hours. I just woke up a couple minutes ago at the crack of 8:30. Made my lunch, which took only a couple minutes because nuts. And it's time to go to work.
Can't legally fill my job. The space industry has export restrictions. Oh wow, the space industry? Is this guy just showing off now? Space industry, bro?
Alright, I just got home a few minutes ago.
6:30.
Heated up some who knows what that I made earlier this week and made myself a smoothie. And I'll be eating and then...
Oh man, this guy has smoothies too. Oh, that looks so delicious. I'm hungry now.
Work finally. I've just finished my second bowl of whatever that stuff is, and I'm done eating. I'm feeling a bit sleepy.
I thought you made the food yourself, bro. What do you mean, whatever that stuff is?
Though, and normally I find that it's better to get the sleep so that when I'm working, I can be working well. So I'm gonna take a quick nap and then go on a walk since I've been sitting in the office all day.
Smart. One nap and walk later.
It is 8:55 and I finally got to sitting down at my computer to do some work. So I finished what I was planning on doing for today a bit faster than expected. So I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what cellular automata I want to use for the winter area. Then I started learning about the different rule strings and how you can write them. And then I found out there's a forum where people share their different rule strings and then I find patterns in each other's automata rule sets. And there's some crazy stuff out there that I wasn't really aware of. So I've got left.
So it was 9:30 when he started, 10, 11. So it lasts 2 hours. Yeah, that sounds about right. When I was working and I had like the mornings to myself, it was usually between 2 and 3 hours because you just don't have the time. Yeah, but it works. It's good enough.
Today is probably just play some Beat Saber to get some exercise and then go to sleep. Tomorrow is another night.
Why don't you just go to the gym, bro? I mean, I guess you have to commute to the gym, but okay, let's know. What is that exercise? Okay.
9-hour day, and I do the exact same thing tomorrow. On my days off from my main job, I normally have social activities interspersed here and there. Typically, I take things a bit slower while still
I mean, I hate those social activities too, you know, like meeting friends and going to family and going into the city.
Intentional with my time so that I can get some rest. Today's relaxing activity is watching the hurricane. Of course, there's plenty of hours in the day, so I still get the overwhelming majority of the work on Yanok done on my days off. Aside from the work hard when it's hard.
Yeah, that works when you're alone. So let's say you meet your friends for a couple of hours, you do something outside, you still have about 8 hours to work on your game. Let's say 6. That only works, unfortunately, if you're alone. In a relationship with, let's say, a kid, which is where I am in at the moment, you don't have that much time. On the weekends, you probably still have to work in the mornings. At least I have. I work in the mornings.
Attitude. There are a couple habits I've settled into that seem to be helping. Working a day job itself is a disruptive task, so I find that it's best to not try to work both before and after. Instead, I wake up, grab my lunch, get ready for work, and...
Yeah, no, so like before and after doesn't really work because you need to have time down. For me, working before was nice, and then I had the break like he had with the nap and stuff using the gym. And so I would go to the gym, and then in the gym, I could take my mind off the computer, I move around, and then I take a shower in the gym, and that basically resets my brain for the job. That's how I did it for a long time. And it does work very well, but then after the job, I usually I played games. I chilled, or I spent time with my now wife, which was then girlfriend.
End up in the office all in the span of 30 minutes. That way, I have the largest possible block of time for continuous uninterrupted work afterwards. Rolling out of bed and into the office definitely doesn't seem to fit that productivity YouTube type of vibe, but it seems to work for me. I find
But because most people say they work in the mornings, I hate that too. Like, I do work in the mornings, but I actually mean it. Like, most people just talk bullshit, in my opinion. But yeah, like, working in the evenings works too.
Exercise incredibly important for maintaining my sleep schedule and for not going insane from sitting at a desk for both my day job and game development. Sometimes it's biking, sometimes it's walking, and sometimes it's Beat Saber.
Holy shit.
One of the main habits I've developed is my task scheduling in Discord. Discord is convenient since it's on my phone and I'm already using it all the time anyways.
Yeah, smart. So usually when you're running around a lot, and like that's what I need to work on too, you should use your phone more to do things that you usually do when you're on your computer. That's a really smart idea.
Makes my tasks incredibly accessible and constantly in front of me. A task list doesn't need to be anything more than a text file anyways.
Yep.
Keeping a list of tasks means...
You know what the annoying thing though is? You can't open text files on your phone. You can't. So what you would need to do is either a Google document or you need to use the notes. But then you can't actually share those with your computer. I can, skill issue. No, I couldn't open a TXT file on my phone. Maybe I'm stupid, but I found no program. And so then using Discord is actually really cool. Google Keep. Okay, Keep is a text file. Well, now I use Google Docs. So it doesn't matter. Google Docs work both on my phone and on things. But okay. Maybe I was just stupid then. Okay. What's surprisingly difficult.
I sit down to work, there's no decision paralysis in determining what needs to be worked on. I just sit down and I work.
Yeah, smart. So that, you see, that's what I mean. Let him repeat that. I think usually when you start the day out, there's something that catches your eye that you then work on. That's how I operate too. Excuse me. And that actually works very well.
A task list doesn't need to be anything more than a text file anyways. Keeping a list of tasks means that whenever I sit down to work, there's no decision paralysis in determining what needs to be worked on. I just sit down and I work. The hardest part about getting work done
He actually said the exact opposite, yeah. I do the exact opposite, yeah. Instead of picking random thing, yeah, I know. Yeah, actually, he said the exact opposite. Maybe I'm just wired differently, but for me, I just work on what feels the next thing that needs to be done. I should try writing down my tasks more. But I did that in the past and it didn't work out very well.
So making starting easier is often very helpful. When I set Yanok's release date for November 14th, I broke down the development tasks for each month. Anything that was in the next 10 weeks or so would be broken down by the week.
Add void areas, move live, add final boss and ending, add a catalog. Okay, update audio, add research NPC, add achievements, add looping option, add void music. Okay, power-ups. So this is content, and then basically this is also more content, and then this is polish, mostly. Yeah, polish. New upgrades.
And I settled on breaking the weeks down into days within a roughly 2-week range, which is oddly similar to the standard sprint length in Agile. Another interesting thing I noticed was that I've tried to make a few bigger games in the past. Every single time that I've successfully finished a large project was a time that I set a deadline and scheduled tasks.
I need to do that too, man. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. So maybe we write a list down tomorrow, okay, guys? Let's write a list tomorrow. Because I want to release the demo version this month. Which means we have like 5 weeks left. No, not 36. Not 2036, okay? Fine.
It's definitely quite finicky when working around a normal job and other real-life events. I just leave buffers, and if something goes wrong, simply work harder because it's hard. The pace I've been keeping has been quite intense, and I definitely can't keep this up for long, hence the 4-month timeline, but I've made some really good progress. Yanok now has a bunch of different areas that visually correspond with seasons and have their own automata rule sets. My favorite season is Void. You can now have Gary enchant your weapons, which persist between runs as a form of meta progression.
Awesome sound effects.
You can now fight, save, and partner up with NPCs in case you need a meat shield. Yanok now supports controllers as an input and runs on the Steam Deck. For some reason, the lazy footage of Yanok running on Steam Deck got way more likes than the teaser trailer on Twitter. The way that marketing works can sometimes be a bit annoying. I also added a buttload of settings and the 4 difficulty options to
Maybe there's just more people using the Steam Deck, which is more interesting to them. Because like showing a game trailer it's not something new, essentially.
Replayability. The whole game has completely different music now too. There are also tons of new machine types that attack in different ways, and of course it wouldn't be a top-down shooter.
I want to see something really quickly, okay?
There was a low-profile half-demo, half-playtest I started in the Yanok Discord last week that's been going well, which leads well into the Steam demo I need for the Steam Next Fest in October. I've got 5 weeks of work scheduled for Yanok to wrap things up, plus a buffer week and a half before release, so I'm really in the final stretch here. Yanok is getting super close to 10,000 wishlists.
Damn, man, that's crazy. How are people getting that many wishlists? Come on, let's see. There is a demo. Okay, wait. Yornak demo. Guys, this is what we need to do. We need to check here the Yornak demo and then Steam DB. How many people are playing this? That's not too many players. Man. Look at this maximum. He had a maximum player count of 15. How does he get so many wish lists? I don't understand this. Huh? How? This guy's cheating. I don't understand this, bro. Come on.
It's on Steam. So if it sounds interesting, I'd appreciate it if you'd wishlist it so you get notified on release. I've got to get back to work in the game dev mines now. Hopefully my random rambling here was interesting. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Very good stuff. Cool.
That product.
I think he's right. So we are going to sit down tomorrow and make a list of features that I need to add to make the demo a reality. He almost has 100,000 YouTube subs. So yeah, I think it's a lot of YouTube views that bleed into this too. So yeah, that could be a big one as well. I have a lot of traction from YouTube too, so that can definitely be a factor. But yeah, I think very insightful, and we're gonna do that too. It's awesome. Like, I think it's cool. And I hope that he can transition into full-time game development. But I guess he wants more money, earn more money from making games than he currently earns at his job. And even if he did, let's say you earn twice as much money using your game or with your game than in your day job, you can still double dip, right? If he's able to do it like this, but he already talked about that he needs to take a break sometimes, and this can't go on for a very long time, which is true. You can't just exhaust yourself. 10k wishlist is a lot. Yes, it's a lot. So yeah, anyways, guys, this is the video. If you want to support him, the best way to do that is to open up the video and watch it on the full length of the video. Don't just close it. Don't just like it and leave. Put it on 1% volume and then watch the video in another tab and do something else, because then you give him the maximum amount of support that you can give him, because YouTube then sees that people watch this video for a long time. That's what matters on YouTube.